Red, white, and blue. Colors that represent a country that proudly declares itself as being the home of equality, freedom, and opportunity. But at what price were we willing to pay to obtain this glory? For younger generations, we only know the multinational corporations and retailers like Walmart or Target that cover the land found less than 10 miles from us. Hi, I'm Avery Marquez, and today we're going to discuss how we failed to recognize how history has advanced since the 19th century westward expansion, when the land we stood upon belonged to Native American tribes across what is now North America. While European immigrants forcibly moved in to access opportunities, indigenous peoples were forcibly removed and relocated westward. As they were told to abandon their ancestral land, they were subject to genocide, social abuse, assimilation, and dislocation. Decisions were made early on who would reap the benefits of this new country and who were going to be eliminated from the American dream. Native Americans did not meet our standards, but that didn't stop us from taking all of their resources. Massive amounts of tribal Indian members found themselves under the control of the U.S. government, as they were permanently held in reservations. With nearly 573 federally recognized tribes and other unaccounted non-federally recognized tribes, today we'll be discussing only one located in and around Colorado, the Arapahos. They are separated into northern and southern tribes. The Arapaho name was adopted by indigenous peoples, and they often refer to themselves between members of their tribe as Henanahe, which directly translates to our people. However, there have been various names that have been said to be given to the tribe, such as many tattoos, traders, blue beads, and the cloud people. It is imperative to understand history and its relevance to modern day. The Arapaho Indians live out their lives in territories in Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. Along the eastern plains, the northern Arapahos can be found near the Wind River Reservation, currently located in Wyoming. The southern indigenous peoples are currently in Oklahoma, after altercations with white settlers forced them out of southeastern Colorado in the early 1800s. Today, this tribe is essential to the core value of Colorado State University. Students from all backgrounds can attend classes, graduate, and learn on these grounds because of the Moral Land Grant Act. This grant helps provide students with the opportunity of education on the basis of many hardships that indigenous peoples encountered on that land. And for this reason, Colorado State proudly recognizes the history and trials that have been endured by Native nations through the CSU Land Acknowledgement. The university recognizes and respects that its land is that of the ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. Beside the acknowledgement, another piece of Arapaho history that is recognized in Fort Collins, Colorado, is the council tree. This tree used to stand near the Cachalapadre River in the Arapaho Bend natural area. The local landmark was known as the meeting place between Arapaho Chief Friday and white settlers. His tribal name was Washington, and he had been named Friday after the day he was discovered by interpreter and fur trapper Thomas Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick adopted Friday and provided him with an education. Over time, Washington was accepted into the Euro-American culture. His education and communication skills allowed him to return back to the Arapaho tribe near the Cachalapadre River as an asset. He returned as chief and began holding meetings under the cottonwood tree. He had a great duty. He served as not only an interpreter, but a peacemaker between indigenous peoples and white settlers. And as for the tree, well, where it once stood is now a plaque that serves to remind the community of the Arapaho history that happened nearly a century ago. However, before the plaque was placed, this tree had a long history. In 1938, the tree had gotten singed by fire smoke from a farmer who had been burning weeds that existed around the cottonwood. The damage that the tree had undergone caused it to ultimately be removed completely. Then, in 1976, the Fort Collins Historical Society decided to pay its respect to the legacy of the Arapaho peoples by deciding to plant another cottonwood tree near where the original council tree once stood. Overall, the Arapaho tribal history is still prominent throughout Colorado. The legacy of the indigenous peoples is still relived through things like the Colorado State University Acknowledgement and landmarks such as the council tree. The disparities that were faced by Native nations will always remain within the city of Fort Collins. These reminiscences of history serve as a reminder that indigenous people had to go through a lot of brutality, and they had to face those that tried to destroy, remove, and relocate their ancestry. My name is Avery Marquez. Thanks for watching.